Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 7th of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very skeptical about the future of the Star Wars franchise, and exactly how both Disney and Lucasfilm will be treating the Star Wars universe going forward when it comes to, of course, everything related to the Disney Plus Star Wars TV series, and as well as the theatrical releases like the 4th Star Wars trilogy and more. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek only want the best for the Star Wars fans as of right now, and that they really are trying their absolute best in order to really get Star Wars back on its feet again as we go throughout this global crisis, and as well as trying to really regain the lost fans that really walked away from the Star Wars franchise from The Last Jedi, and even especially from The Rise of Skywalker, since those two movies were a big disappointment to a large group of Star Wars fans of the entire fandom, right? So when we look at Bob Chapek, that's exactly what he is doing right now with Star Wars, is that he's creating his own legacy, he's creating an image for himself when it comes to Star Wars to really give fans hope about what's to come in the near future. Like I say, when it comes to live action or animated TV shows or movies, all of it is really going to be bundled together as this new Star Wars universe that is quite possibly going to be far larger and more successful than the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least that's what both Bobs want, is that they want this to be just as successful as their other franchise that they own. So with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing all has to do with what Chapek is doing behind the scenes. With the Skywalker saga now over by Disney and Lucasfilm, they are currently focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of movies, as well as the new Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are fully invested in developing these new projects that will dive further into the lore and will be created by legendary creators as well. However, behind the scenes, Bob Chapek has been hard at work on developing a plan to reunite the Star Wars fans. Now, it's noted that Bob Chapek recently canceled yet another Star Wars movie that was originally initiated by Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. The film was set to be a new film that would introduce an era that would take place many years after the events of the sequel trilogy, where it would focus on these new warriors connected to the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy. It's explained that this film served as a spin-off movie that was going to hold a strong connection to the Rian Johnson trilogy, as both Kennedy and Johnson planned to develop their own Star Wars universe before Rian Johnson's original trilogy ideas were put to an end by Bob Chapek. The film was going to focus on one of the single characters that Johnson was setting up for his new trilogy that would get his own spin-off film right from the get-go, and would tap into a new power called the Vitality, which would actually replace the Force. Now, this film would look at the Jedi and the Force as a very ancient concept in the movie's universe. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. The thing about this that really is the greatest thing, the fact that Chapek canceled this, is to me, is that this is yet another prime example of Kathleen Kennedy going a couple of steps forward way too fast. You know, we've seen a prime example of this where she gave Rian a trilogy even before The Last Jedi released into theaters. What was with that, right? A lot of fans at the time thought that, alright, maybe that means The Last Jedi is so outstanding to the point where Kathleen Kennedy just had to give him a trilogy before the movie even came out, and that they're that confident that it's going to do that well with the Star Wars community, and that they're going to accept it that much. Turned out to be a complete 180, where everybody hated The Last Jedi for the most part, right? Of course, there's some Last Jedi supporters out there, which is fine, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but now that the trilogy is scrambled, it really does make one wonder exactly why would Kathleen Kennedy do it again, and really kind of call the shots way too early by giving Johnson a spin-off film already that's actually connected to his new trilogy before even knowing if his new trilogy would be a success. You see where Kathleen Kennedy makes all the mistakes here. She really kind of just takes a couple of extra steps forward way too fast before looking at the success of one project. And I think that just shows that Kennedy likes to set up a roadmap. You know, we do know that She had over 10 years worth of Star Wars movies lined up that are now being cancelled one by one by Bob Chapek, and how Chapek is going to be replacing them all with new movies in place throughout this entire decade of the 2020s, and even beyond into the 2030s. Yes, they actually plan for Star Wars to last for a very long time, just like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been around since 2008. You know, think about that for a second, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been around for a very, very long time, and it's actually going to continue to just keep going and going. And they want to do the same exact thing with Star Wars. So, will that be, you know, a frequency issue if they keep this up by just throwing out content left and right? I don't think so. As long as it's quality, I think a lot of fans will have no issues with a lot of Star Wars movies and TV shows. They obviously wanted a hiatus. Kathleen Kennedy wanted the hiatus, just because. That's the main reason as to why we have a gap in between of Star Wars movies. It wasn't Disney. It wasn't Bob Iger. It was all Kathleen Kennedy. She's the one who proposed that idea to Iger and begged him to actually do that hiatus because of what happened to Solo's box office. So with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.